down Shoge River in Amagasaki, which is in Hyogo Prefecture in Japan. I do this every Sunday in the afternoon because Monday we have work, and on Sunday I don't go to the gym. I don't usually go to the gym on Sundays, so it's just more so walking around. Actually, I cycle. I cycle from my home and come to the river, and then I park my bike, and from my bike I just walk down here. I think I can switch my camera. Hold on. Yeah, so this is like where I'm walking. So I parked my bike like somewhere like somewhere like over like past the bend. I parked my bike like somewhere over there, and I'm gonna walk until like the end completely. So I do this every other day. I said every other day after mentioning Sunday. No, I only do this on Sunday afternoons or Sunday mornings. Ah, there's a cute dog coming. Wanna say hello? Konnichiwa. Yeah, so yesterday I was speaking with my brother and we were talking about, we always talk about so many things. And yesterday we were speaking about how we want to grow our futures. My brother lives in Osaka. So as a backstory, my brother has lived in Osaka, in Japan, not Osaka only, has lived in Japan for 10 years plus now, I think, if I'm not wrong. Maybe he will correct me in the comments after watching this video. But he has lived in Japan for 10 years plus, and I came to Japan in May 2022, and I am just about to hit 3 years in May this year. So it's kind of like a milestone for me. When I came to Japan, the only words that I knew how to say was konnichiwa, arigato gozaimasu, and sumimasen. And right now, as we speak, my Japanese is quite good. I mean, I can, like half baked, hold a conversation. I still need like to use English here and there, but I can understand and I can speak. But not only that, sorry, I'm drifting off. We were talking about like growing our futures here. But whilst we were talking about growing our futures here, we mentioned how people back at home, many people back at home, my brother and I, we are Kenyans. We come from Kenya, a country in East Africa, usually known as, like the safe haven of East Africa, surrounded by countries that have always been in like turmoil. But either way, it's Africa. My brother and I grew up in relatively good conditions. We never lacked anything. If anything, we had more than even people in first world countries can ever dream of. That's the only way we could be here in Japan right now. But we were speaking about how there's a lot of people back home, not people who we know, but just generally speaking, not even just for my brother and I, but many people who come from third world countries and relocate and live in developed nations like America, the UK, Australia, Japan. They have people back home who think that, why did he get all this? Why and how did he like get all this? And his life or her life must be so good. But the reality is that, yeah, I mean, you don't see me struggling. I mean, I'm walking by the river on a Sunday morning, but at the same time, it's just like a matter of in Kenya, my salary was maybe 90,000 yen, maybe like $600, 90,000 yen, 90,000 shillings, sorry. 90,000, maybe like $600, $700, give or take. And that was comfortable for me. Here in Japan, it's different because here in Japan, I make maybe like, oh no, $2,400. It's the same and it's exactly the same. I am comfortable. I can save money, but the difference comes in like, the difference comes now like when I was in Kenya, I used to live in my parents' house. So everything was provided for. Everything was provided for. And like my parents were, they're not rich or anything, but they're very successful. So I had everything I needed. I had food, I had like staff members in the house helping with everything. I barely needed to lift a finger. So I moved to Japan living alone. I'm making more money than like managers in banks make in Kenya. But the expenses in Japan, I always tell my friends back at home, like a one-way train in Japan. So, backstory before talking about the trains. Everybody thinks in Japan the trains are so convenient. Yes, they are very convenient. But there's also the fact of what's the cost? Because I speak with a lot of my friends and like, oh man, these trains to go everywhere, it must be so affordable, right? But no, they're not. The only reason trains in Japan are so convenient and so available is because they're so expensive, because they always have to maintain these trains, maintain the railway line, and upgrade the trains every single time. So, for example, using a distance in terms of like a Kenyan perspective, we're talking about like from Karen to the CBD of Nairobi. That's about maybe 10 kilometers, 13 kilometers at most, I would say. That would maybe cost 380 yen, which is about 350 shillings. Think about that. That's one way, 350. Yeah, 350 one way. So you will use 700 every day to go to work and come back. And they are some, sorry, there's an airplane coming, passing by, and it's so low, so it's so beautiful. I should look up. So, anyway, it gets a bit pricey in terms of like transportation costs. So sometimes not sometimes you literally have to like budget your transportation costs. Of course, here in Japan, companies actually pay for your transportation costs. For example, if you spend say 30,000 yen, if you spend 30,000 yen per month on your transportation, in your next salary, your company will give you exactly the amount of money you spent on your transportation for the previous month. So you're spending a lot of money on transport, but it's reimbursed, right? So it's not really an expense, but I mean, it comes at the end of the month. Something else to think about here in Japan. Let's see. I mean, food is not expensive. I mean, beef is expensive. For example, a kilogram of beef is 2,600 yen, which is like 2,500 shillings. Uh, Gasoline, petrol. Petrol is a nightmare here in Japan. Petrol is 189, depending on where you are. I went to Yamaguchi during Christmas, and petrol there was 204. So it depends. But aside from that, bro, this is the most peaceful, the most loving, the most environmentally friendly country I've ever been in. For example, like last week, I cycled all over Japan going to work. I was doing 24 kilometers every day cycling on my bicycle every single day. And it was nice. And man, I lost 2 kilos in 1 week, man. And aside from that, man, if I show you my thighs right now, if I show you my thighs right now, oh, actually, look at my drip. Looks a bit like trashy, but yo, these are fucking expensive. These are fucking expensive. This is fucking expensive. This is maybe like 1,000 yen, so expensive. This is 100 yen. This is like 20,000. My haircut was fucking 5,000. Anyway, but yeah, cycling was very good for me. I loved it, but I do not want to do it ever again. Ever, 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 ever. It was nice. I got to discover Japan. I mean, I got to discover Hyogo and Osaka, but at the same time, man, 11, no, 12.4 kilometers every morning and every evening was not easy. It was nice because you get to work when you're very like pumped up because like your heart is beating so fast. But like by maybe um, I would say when would I start to crash? I would start crashing maybe at like my breaks are often between maybe start maybe at like 2:30 or like 3 o'clock. So I would start crashing maybe at like 1:30, 1:45. And like when I start crashing, like bro, I would like be struggling waiting for my break to start. And like my break would start and so I'm a smoker. Speaking of smoking, I'm a smoker. So during my break, we usually have a 1 hour break. And I often go to just smoke a cigarette or two and go back to the school. So I would go and smoke a cigarette. But during the past week, I wouldn't even smoke. Like I was beat. I was so beat. I was so beat. I was so beat. Like I would literally like my break would come. My break would come and I would literally just go to the staff room and put my head on the desk. There's always snacks in the staff room. Maybe like have a few snacks. Maybe just like have a few snacks and like just call it a day. Just sleep for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes and wake up. And the thing with falling asleep during your break in the middle of the day is that when you wake up next, you are so tired. I often woke up after my break or during my break because I only slept for like 20 minutes and then woke up before my break ended and go wash my face and like do some emails, file some reports, do some feedback for the students to the parents. But like when my break ended, bro, and I have to go back to work, I was beat. I was beat, bro. And for me, it takes maybe 45 minutes for my body to like load, you know? Have you ever like, so let me give you like a perfect like metaphor. My laptop, I use an old laptop. I use a HP 510. No, not 510. Sorry, that's my previous laptop, an HP. But that laptop was bought to me and my brother by my parents when I started university. That was in 20. Eh, when did I start university? 2013. I still use that same laptop and it works, but it's freaking slow. It's so slow. So like when I try to open, for example, Netflix. Now forget even Netflix. That's even like an overstatement. Opening like the browser and like loading Google will take 6 minutes. And when Google opens, I will type something on the search bar, and like when I press a button, I can just like type, for example, I don't know, anime freak, ba 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 ba, anime freak, right? And I wait, and it's gonna take maybe like 6 to 8 seconds before anime freak appears on the search bar, right? So that's how slow that my body loads. So cycling was so nice. I lost weight, my cardio, like I can, like even like breathing right now, it's fucking fantastic. And next week again, I want to cycle again, but I might not be able to because my schedule might be a bit different. I might have to cycle 3 hours one way, 35 kilometers one way next week, which means I'll probably use the train, but it depends. We'll see. Um, Anyway, I don't even know where this started from, but yeah, thank you for watching, and I appreciate all you guys, and yeah, thank you.